All right, here is the video review for Studio Series Concept Art Bumblebee movie SUNSTREAKER. And here you can see he's kind of a, not really a Lamborghini. I did see a Lamborghini while we were out of town. If you watch my Wheeljack video, we went out of town for the Eclipse. Bought most of these while we were on the trip, which was cool. I found them at different stores. But yeah, I saw a real Lamborghini. It was blue. Anyway, it's very low to the ground. Like, I don't know how you drive one of those things and not just rip the crap out of the bottom of your car. But whatever. Anyway. SUNSTREAKER, here he is. He's got his little guns on the back. You can pop them off if you want. He's got kind of a spoiler in the shape of his shoulder guards. Put some detailing. The yellow is not quite a perfect match, unfortunately, which makes me sad. They just fixed that with the 5-pack SUNSTREAKER, but it doesn't make me mad. It would just be cool. Or maybe did I say sad? I don't know. One of them words, but he's still a cool looking little car. He does have little spinny turbines with little tiny wheels right here. I don't know what that's supposed to like make him. Cybertronian, my dog is howling. She's having a sleepy dream. Anyway, he's got little thin disc wheels that spin these little turbines inside the circles. I do wish there was a little bit more. They've got some here and some orange, but I wish there was a little bit more things to maybe pick out some detail, either so like a dry brush silver on the inside of the wheels so you see them spinning more dynamically, or just some little things to pick out some detail here. Toy Hacks did just release this morning, sent out an email with some sticker sheets for him. I think they make him look too Fall of Cybertron, but I may get the set and use some of the stickers just to kind of give him a little bit more oomph, because he is like he's less plain than initial pictures made him look, but he is kind of like lacking in some detail and a big yellow chunk of cheese here in vehicle mode. But yeah, the guns, like I said, you can hook them together, you tab them together like this, and then this little tab here. Or not the tab, these slots here, these tab in. You can have him wear them on his back, kind of like his traditional, the engine block that's back there. You can also unpeg them from each other and plug them in to the sides of the vehicle mode here. They're both shown in the instructions. And both of those modes look kind of neat. And Transformer will come up here and we'll pop the shoulder pad pieces up. There's like a double hinge piece in there. Bring them out onto the shoulders, and then we'll kind of pop the arms out to the side. This whole assembly comes up and around and down onto his back. You can see there's a couple pegs here that tab in. He's got some cool little thruster detail on his back that, again, gets hidden by this piece. And also, I think if those actually vented, they would vent right into this piece and maybe not be super effective. But he's got some cool tech detailing underneath this panel. Peg holes for you can store the guns on his back in robot mode. You can see his fists here. I'm just going to go ahead and fold these panels up and around like this, and then fold them down like that. Then the arms bend. They don't extend, but they do have an elbow there and a swivel there. No wrist swivel, unfortunately. The hand is a solid piece, and he's got dual hinge there at the shoulders. Then you go ahead and flip his head up like that. Get his other arm out over here. And then this whole assembly lifts up. These side windows here fold in. And you can see there's like a hinge here and a pin through his chest and then a hinge up here. This kind of collapses back into his body here. Like this. The windows fold up and this comes down and will kind of lock in here. Now, it doesn't actually peg tab anywhere, it doesn't look like. Okay, there are some little blue tabs here that kind of slot in here. It's not super secure, but I mean, like it stays in nicely. It just, there's aside from those little tabs, there's no other real hard locking point for it, which is fine. Again, because it stays in place just fine. You can see him coming together. His chest is not nearly as wide as the CG makes it look, which is actually, I think, an improvement on the toy over the CG model. The CG model looks really bloated in the width of his chest. I'm curious as to how that would have looked in live action based on that CG. But the toy itself looks pretty cool. He's got those little yellow head fins. The legs, you go ahead and pop up like this. These pieces right here, you kind of lift and pop up out of the way here. Rotate them up. Bring the feet down like that. Rotate the legs there at the thigh swivel. And again, he's got dual hinge hips, hinge knees. He does have some ankle tilt there in his feet, as well as front to back there at the ankle. And then these panels just kind of fold. They don't fold all the way down or lock into place anywhere that I can. Oh, there's a little tab there. Okay, maybe I need to line them up properly. it's hard to get that. It's hard to see where that goes. And then they do fold flat against the leg there. I hadn't noticed that tab before. I was wondering, I'm like, no, I didn't want to force it because I'd get in what I thought was the right position and fold it back and it wouldn't lock all the way down. And it turns out there actually is a little tab under there. So you can fold that down flat. And that actually gives him like kind of a dynamic boot there when it's all folded in. His wheels are on the back of his legs. And there's SUNSTREAKER in robot mode. Actually a very cool robot mode. Again, the difference with all the orange and everything, the difference in the yellow is not as big a deal to me here in robot mode. It still is this clear piece, the clear transparent blue piece with the yellow paint. Doesn't quite match, especially under the bright lights here. But to the naked eye and in general lighting conditions, it's not as egregious as the previous regular SUNSTREAKER we got in Kingdom, or is it Kingdom, Earthrise, whichever one. But yeah, and he's got his guns. You can hold them individually in his hands. You can plug them together and have him hold it as a double weapon. Although that looks, however you do it, it's always going to be hanging off to one side. It looks a little awkward. It looks much better like this in his arms. He does have, I thought he had little panels on his forearms you could plug into. But anyway, you can also do that. I'm thinking of Sandstorm. And then you can also peg them back together like they were with these two tabs. And again, much like the engine block that sat behind his head, or in his G1 robot mode, you can plug these into the backpack here and have them sit there on his back. Like I said, he's a really fun figure. I like SUNSTREAKER. He was one of the G1 cars I had as a kid. He was one of my favorites just because I had him, I think, as a child. But this is a nice little SUNSTREAKER figure, and much better than I was expecting it to be. I did see the Fall of Cybertron Sideswipe at the same time, but that one just didn't wow me in a way. But this one looked like it was fun. And then I actually saw him at a Target, and then at one Target while we were driving around, and then passed on him. And then some of my friends were chatting. They're like, oh, I also had just picked him up and said, he's really, really good. You should get him. So when we hit a second Target later that day, I just went ahead and I saw him again and I grabbed him. Real quick size comparison. I just got Origins Jazz out since I have him out for some of the other reviews. But he's standard deluxe size. He's not quite as tall at the head as Jazz is, but you can see he's got bigger shoulders. He's a little bulkier overall. Just not quite as tall from a pure height perspective. Actually, those kind of look cool together. Anyway, he's super fun. Again, the panels are all decently managed. I mean, he does have some panels on both his arms and his legs, but they fold away pretty nicely. It really gives him a really nice silhouette. I do wish that they put a lot of time into making these little turbines and little spinny wheels. I just wish the wheels in vehicle mode looked a little bit more dynamic. Made them stand out a little bit more from like this, again, the solid block of... I don't know if maybe painting this rim around them silver or something would have helped. It just feels like there's lacking something color-wise to break up the vehicle mode a little bit better. But his robot mode is absolutely fantastic and a lot of fun. So there is, what is it? Bumblebee concept art, SUNSTREAKER, Bumblebee movie concept SUNSTREAKER from the Studio Series line.